Okay, if you've ever felt completely lost trying to learn German grammar, believe me, you are not alone. Today, we're going to tackle one of its biggest hurdles, the four cases. But forget about those confusing charts for a minute. We're going to build a simple, logical framework so you can finally understand what they do and why they're so important. So let's dive in with a sentence that looks pretty simple on the surface. In English, we have, the dog bites the man. The German version is, der Hund beißt den Mann. It feels like a one-to-one translation, right? Subject, verb, object. The word order tells us exactly who's doing what to whom. No problem. But this is where German pulls a fast one and shows off its secret power. If we flip the English sentence around, the meaning completely changes. Now, the man bites the dog. Totally different story. But look what happens in German. We can flip the words to den Mann beißt der Hund, and guess what? The meaning stays exactly the same. The dog is still the one doing the biting. How is that even possible? Well, that, my friends, is the magic of cases. They give each noun a job, so it doesn't matter where it is in the sentence. To get you there, here's our game plan. We'll quickly talk about why the old methods don't work. Then we'll introduce a much better mental model. We'll define the four case jobs, I'll give you a great shortcut for the endings, and then we'll unlock your new German superpower. First things first, let's talk about the pain point that probably brought you here in the first place, the dreaded grammar table. Oh yeah, I think we've all been there, just staring at this grid of words, hoping it'll just magically sink in. And here's the fundamental problem with that. When you're trying to have an actual conversation, your brain just doesn't have time to stop and scan a giant table. It's way too slow. It causes this mental logjam and your fluency just grinds to a halt. Ugh, does this look familiar? Yeah, this is the old way. This is brute force memorization, making you learn over 16 different article variations without ever understanding the why behind any of them. You're learning without logic, and that is precisely why it so rarely sticks. So let's just throw that out and shift to a better way, one that actually builds an intuitive understanding. We're going to replace that entire table with something called mental models. This is all about shifting our focus from what the word is to why it is the way it is. So, what is a mental model? Think of it like a mental map. Instead of a list of rules you have to memorize, it's a logical framework for understanding what a word does in a sentence. Is it the one doing the action? Is it the one being acted on? This functional approach is so much more effective for speaking in real time. Let's make this super concrete with a simple model. I call it the four drawers. Just imagine the four German cases are four different drawers, and each one is labeled with a specific job. To know which case you need, you don't look at a table. You just figure out which drawer the noun belongs in based on its role in the sentence. Okay, so what exactly are these jobs? Let's go ahead and open each of those four drawers and take a look at the job description inside. And you know what? The jobs are really simple. The nominative is the actor, the one doing something. The accusative is the target, the one directly receiving the action. The dative is the recipient, who the action is for. And finally, the genitive is the owner. That's it. Actor, target, recipient, owner. Now, the most important part is speed. How do you find the right job or drawer quickly while you're talking? It's actually really simple. You just have to ask the right question. Each case has one key question that immediately tells you what it is. And here they are. These questions are your new best friends. For the nominative actor, you ask wer oder was, who or what is doing the action. For the accusative target, you ask wen oder was, whom or what is receiving the action. For the dative recipient, you ask wem, to whom or for whom. And for the genitive owner, wessen, whose. That's your cheat code right there. Okay, so now you can logically find the right drawer. But what about all those pesky article endings? Here's where we use a simple little mnemonic as a tool, not a crutch. It's called the RES-NESI system. So instead of that massive grid, just remember these four little patterns, and they're just for the last letter of the definite articles. For nominative, it's RESE. For accusative, NESE. For dative, MRMN. And for genitive, SRSR. This simple pattern covers every ending you'll need, without that terrible cognitive overload. All right, let's put this all together. When you make that shift from just memorizing to actually understanding the logic, you get a new superpower. You start to see German grammar as this elegant feature, not some annoying bug you have to deal with. So here's what you need to take away. German cases are all about function, and that's what makes that flexible word order possible. From now on, think of them as jobs or drawers. To find the right case, just ask the right question. And use simple mnemonics to help with the endings. At the end of the day, it's all about logic, not just memorization. So the next time you look at a German sentence, don't just see a string of words. Look for the jobs. Find the actor, find the target, find the recipient. The cases are literally clues, and now you have the key to unlock the story that every single sentence is trying to tell you.